Hey VV Nation, I'm Glenn.
And I'm Ryan. We've got a special event coming next month, May 1st. We're finally hitting the road. Now, we will be hosting some live streams. Tell them a little bit about the live streams we'll be doing.
We're going to have the Stock Analysis Power Hour. Ryan will host that. Bring your stocks. Let Ryan break them down for you. I'll also do a live stream called Trending Thursday. That's where we go through, look at what's going on in the market, what's going on in the news, and we analyze stocks. We also have a live presentation for those people who will be attending live as well. What's that, Ryan?
Now, we do have the presentation titled Unlocking the Secrets of Financial Success. Now, to register for free and get the details, just go to VectorVest.com/roadshow.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Afternoon Market Action. My name is Glenn.
My name is Ryan.
And the big news just hit a few minutes ago that there is or will be a 90-day pause on some countries. Seems like some people are coming to the table trying to make deals. Again, that's what the tariffs were supposed to be about. And this time we're going to see if it was fake news or not. So far, it was on CNBC, it was on Fox, it's on a lot of the different outlets. And it seems like right now, the market took off like nobody's business. The Dow is up like 2,700 points, 7%. The NASDAQ is up
10%.
10% of the NASDAQ.
Woo. We were looking for a reason to rally.
And we talked about that in the Jockey Club today. Mm-hmm. This is the news, the catalyst that investors were looking for. And we'll see what happens. So if you can hear us loud and clear, let us know in the chat. In the affirmative, preferably with VV Nation, to let us know that we are coming across loud and clear. All right. Howdy again, cowboy. Here we go.
We won't have a green light. The VectorVest composite would actually have to go up $4 more.
Oh, it's got to go up a lot.
A lot in order to get a green light, which is probably a good thing because, as we know, news can change tomorrow. We'll see how that plays out.
Mark says, can anyone lend him some Dramamine? This market is crazy. The volatility is no joke. No joke. And this is a trader's market. Even in the Jockey Club, it is tough to try to even day trade in our trading room. So right now, this is big. A lot of the industries are rocking and rolling. Look at that big move on healthcare nursing homes.
Almost 7% in a day.
Look at this. This is huge. I don't remember the last time I saw a 7% move in the Dow. I can't remember the last time I seen that kind of move on the Dow. So
I don't think I've ever seen the NASDAQ up 1,500 points. 10% in a day?
That is crazy. So, one day doesn't make a trend. Bill is right. Absolutely. The pause only applies to some and no relief to China. China is not getting any relief. And in the article or the news that I just said, I did say that it was for some countries. For some countries. So, we'll see what happens. Bitcoin did a nice jump. I don't even know why we're talking about Bitcoin. I'm not even thinking about talking about Bitcoin. Not even both point wise. All right, so we will see. All right, so this is what's going on in the market on the homepage. Big moves. This is what investors were looking for because the news on the tariffs was overtaking the headlines.
And on Monday, we had similar, or at least a rumor.
And the market took off.
And then the White House said no 90-day pause.
Right.
And then now 2 days later, Wednesday, now we got 90-day pause.
And someone in the cabinet also was explaining the 90-day pause. So this is the bottom. Rance Reed says, I don't know. I don't know how sustainable this news is yet. So what do? We trade the charts. Let's go to the market timing graph real quick. All right, stock, market timing. I bet you it's going to just show a big, there it is. Whoop, there it is.
That's a bullish engulf.
That is a bullish engulf, and it's taken out 2 of the previous big down days.
And about to fill the gap, it looks like, at the same time.
That's a big move. Well, we saw that just on, saying that the NASDAQ, don't remember seeing it that high. So there it is. Is that the bottom? I don't know. Why don't I know? Because how do you know when the bottom happens? When the market stops going down and starts going up. One day, who's to say that tomorrow, with all of this Dramamine leading news back and forth, that it doesn't go down again tomorrow? Yeah, you're right, M. Bison. That's a huge move on the market. Open candle at the wick, no wick at the top, which means we're trading close to the session highs. Good open candle, big candle, taking out three previous days of down. That's big. All right, that's big. All right, so with that, let's talk about some news that's going on. Besides that, one of the first stories I wanted to bring up, because I keep hearing this over and over and over, will the market go into a recession? So I went to two AIs. I went to Grok on Twitter, and then I went to ChatGPT to get the question answered.
Okay.
Right now, as of April 8th, this is yesterday, the U.S. stock market is already reeling from a sharp downturn. Reports indicate the S&P has dropped over 10% since early April, triggered by President Trump's tariff announcements. This has pushed the index into correction territory. I think all of the indexes are in
well, they were, but not now.
Wow.
We'll see.
Economic indicators are mixed. The Atlanta Fed now moderately pegged quarter one of 2025 growth at negative 3.7%. So how do we know if we get into a recession? When GDP goes down for 2 quarters in a row. We haven't seen that happen yet. All right, and with today's move, if the market continues to move higher, I think we should get further and further away from a recession. Next story, same thing. Interest rates, central banks like the Fed have kept interest rates high to fight inflation, which shows economic growth. Inflation has come down from its highs, but still a concern in some sectors. The job market still relatively strong, though showing signs of softening. So recession, some economists think that we may have a soft landing, slower growth, but no full-blown recession. Others believe the lagging effects of high rates could still cause a mild recession in 2025. All right, so let me ask you. I went out to AI to get some of these answers. Do you think we get a recession, yes or no?
As of right now, yes.
Okay. Out there, let me know. Do you think we get a recession, yes or no? All right, and he's right. Niles says CPI tomorrow could be an impact on the market.
But I think it's funny, now they're talking about a recession. But do you remember 2 years ago, summer, where we had 2 negative GDP quarters of negative growth? And then no one said recession.
No, you know why?
Because of unemployment.
They turned around and
So are we going off the old standard or are we going off a new standard?
You got to go off the old standard.
That's what I'm going to say.
You got to go off the tried and true.
I'm not going to say that unemployment is going to go out of control or anything like that. But I do think that we'll probably have some negative GDP growth. If the tariffs don't resolve themselves. But we'll see.
I'm of the mindset that the tariffs will resolve themselves. In my mind, I'm watching this and I'm saying to myself, the tariffs are coming through with the intention of getting fairer numbers as far as trade. Now, somebody sent me a story that the numbers that President Trump came up with was doctored up a little bit. I'm looking further into that. I may have to do a story on that.
I've been looking at the trade number. It's so hard to get an accurate number on these trade tariff
I think
percentages.
The story says that we over tariffed all of the countries.
Okay.
Because of some kind of calculation. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't think we get a recession. All right? I don't think we get one. We're already in recession. Roger says, no, we're not. When have you seen GDP down for 2 quarters? We're not in a recession. All right? That's just going off the traditional levels of recession. That hasn't happened.
And this is my thing. The tariffs, well, now there's a 90-day pause, they haven't really affected us yet. The recession, in my opinion, will be caused exactly what the Federal Reserve was supposed to do. Slow down the economy with rising the interest rates, right? That was the whole objective when they rose interest rates, to combat inflation, slow down the economy, slow down pressure on demand. So I see, the laggard interest rate increase that we saw over the last few years, that more of a cause to the recession. The tariffs, that's just going to put fear in the market. That's a different story.
And it says the tariffs had nothing to do with tariffs. It was calculated from a trade deficit. And that's what this story was talking about. So I'm gonna do it. It was a YouTube story. I'm going to dig deeper into it and bring it to you. It was calculated, there you go, as deficit divided by export to us for each country.
And Troy says tariffs are worse than 1930s before the Depression. Well, the Depression occurred in 1929, and in the 1930s when we had the Tariffs Act. And I'll let you make your own decision on whether that was good or bad. But the tariffs did not cause the Great Depression.
I agree.
That act occurred 1 year afterwards by a political party that came to power, because obviously the political party before didn't do such a good job. So you know how that changes dynamics.
All right. Let's go to the next story. Sell-off in Taiwan semi likely overdone.
I'm sad that my portfolio sold my TSM position. But you know, it stopped the bleeding.
If this didn't happen, you would probably be like, oh. All right. TF is likely overdone at this point, Bank of America said Tuesday, as the firm reiterated its buy rating on the global foundry. With tariff concerns and AI supply chain hiccup baked in, interesting, baked in, TSMC's valuation appears attractive at 14 times that number, blah, 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 versus the trial of 10 times during the second half of 2022, semis down cycle. I don't know if I'm ready to think about getting back into tech stocks yet, but if this does have legs because of the pause, the stocks that have been beaten down the most will be the stocks that will probably rebound the most. TSM might be one of those stocks. All right, so let's go to the next story. This is Ryan's story.
Oh, yeah. So I thought this was good.
Look at that. You see that, right?
Dow surges 2,400 points. Biggest rally in 5 years after Trump pauses some tariffs. Some tariffs. Some tariffs.
And I think it's the countries that came to him and said, hey, we don't want this tariff stuff. We're going to make a deal.
Yeah.
And that's what the tariffs were designed to do.
It was definitely a negotiation tactic. But this story here I find interesting, and not just, you know, Walmart or Sam's Club. I also got Costco. But I think, you know, do I think the tariff thing is over? No. But I will say consumers, whether the tariffs, you know, come into play, or we'll see how that figures out, but consumers are already getting defensive. You know, I am myself, I know individuals are. I think, you know, Walmart, the Costcos, the Dollar Generals, the Dollar Trees, that kind of stuff. I went to Dollar Tree yesterday, and half the shelves were empty.
Everybody and their mama's going to get their stuff.
They're getting their stuff before the tariffs come in. So I see these, you know, defense consumer plays, you know, as potential. You know, if you want to, you know, tiptoe into the market, whatever it may be. I think this is a space that, you know, might have some, some leg room to grow, you know, later half in 2025. But again, it's the tariffs right now. But as you know, we got recession fears, tariff fears. I think these defensive consumer picks definitely have on your radar.
Are you now ready to say, just curious, that investors overreacted to the tariffs rather than let the tariffs come to them and let's go see if there could be any deals that could be made?
I think people just were uncertain in the market. There wasn't a lot of clarity to the strategy, and I think that's
what clarity did you need? You're going to tariff countries.
But how, who, what industries, you know, the specifics, the information coming out was changing on a weekly basis. So yeah, I do think it was an overreaction, but I think for some reasons and in some pockets of the market, probably justified.
I think it is perception, and
correct.
Perceptions become investors' reality. Mm-hmm. The tariffs suck. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm of the belief that they are doing what they were designed to do. Okay.
And Mark, he has a good point here. Investors are responding to fear-mongering.
Oh, there we go. Woo! I'm feeling that. I agree. I'm feeling that. All right? I'm feeling that. It was fear-mongering. It was like, oh my gosh, the world is going to hell in a handbasket and blah, 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 blah. Sit back. Let's go see what happens. There still is a lot more that could happen.
But not only just the tariffs. I think the market was already looking for a reason to take a breather.
It did.
It had a good run.
It did.
It was taking its breather, and then on top of that, we had all these, tariffs, geopolitical concerns, whatever, amplify that, and that's the situation we found ourselves in.
Okay. Next story.
Defense. I do like this. This is a good story. I read that one.
It goes back to defense for me, which I think is going to play a huge role this year. You see that we getting ready to super seriously eventually bomb up Iran?
I see it.
Okay.
I see it with the Houthis and Iran. We'll see how that comes to play.
Italy.
You got really excited. I can see the smile on
Listen,
your face.
I wish that I could get back into the Marine Corps. Say, put me in, coach. I'm ready to play. Italy is said to plan expansion of defense budget amid U.S. pressure. NATO pledges. Again, we start to pull back from defending everybody in the EU.
Now everyone else is going to have to spend money
And that's
on
what's
these
going
industry
on.
companies. No, I see the logic behind it, Glenn, and I'm definitely on board with that.
So EU, everybody over there is building up, putting more money, more of their GDP
I've seen
into defense.
Poland, of all the countries, Poland's like really stepping up to the plate.
Well, they border Russia.
Yeah, well, pretty close to Russia.
No. They border, if you go look at it on the map, it's
Yeah,
Poland, Russia. Ain't
Yeah.
no space in between. It's not even a glen.
Okay.
It's not even
I thought there was a little,
I don't know.
like a little Slavic country or something between there.
No, that's what it is. It's gone. It's gone. There's somebody back me up on that.
I
Poland
saw,
is right on Russia's border. Yes or no?
No, I don't disagree with you.
I think you do. I think evidently you do.
I just haven't looked at Poland on a map in a while.
I have.
I know
That's
it
what I'm
was
saying.
close.
It's right on. It's right on the border. It's right there.
What I did find interesting about Poland is that they're getting a lot of their arms actually from South Korea, especially their tank divisions. I watched some videos on that like a week or two ago. But South Korea becoming a military powerhouse.
At present, Italy spends about 1.5% of its yearly income output on defense, placing it below the alliance's official threshold.
So look, no, they're not next to Belarus.
Somebody else just said yes.
Not Russia.
Galadriel.
Do we need to pull up a map? Where's Poland? Everyone, we're going to figure out where Poland. I know where it's at, but I just don't know if there's a small country between it. I mean, I know it's real close to Russia.
I think it's right there.
It would make sense. Yeah, okay, so it is Belarus and Ukraine. That's why I had a feeling that there's a couple Slavic countries in between. You want to see that map?
Poland-Russia border separates the territories on the republic.
Click on this one.
Why do I click on that one?
Yeah,
Where's Poland?
Right here.
Poland.
You've got Belarus, which is...
Nah, that's wrong. Belarus is not a real country. It's
pretty much Russia.
It's not a real country.
It's not a real country.
All right, so I was wrong.
It's okay.
I'm never wrong,
See?
but this one time I was wrong.
I had a
Ukraine
feeling
is on
there
the
were countries in between.
Belarus. Okay, good job. All right.
But
You didn't believe
but
me.
nonetheless, I mean, Poland is stepping up to the plate. But it makes sense, just with their history given, being invaded and everything. But we'll see. But yeah, again,
And
this
Poland
is only going to
is-
benefit
Poland is
defense
in
and stocks
NATO.
and defense industry.
Belarus is pretty much controlled by Russia.
That's why I said, Bill. Yeah.
We should just take over. Just get Poland to take over.
If you were in charge, it sounds like we'd just be taking over a country. We got Iran,
Damn right.
Belarus apparently on your list.
All right. Ryan's story about gold. You know something? Gold was pulling back a little bit.
I said it last week. I think
know.
even the week before. I
Go
said
ahead.
I like the gold dip better than the tech dip. I
You
just
did
found
say
it
that.
safer. I mean, other
Okay.
than the 90-day pause news that just came out, tech was not
Which is
looking
gonna be
good
huge
prior
probably
to an
for gold.
hour ago. But this is, I don't even really need to read the story. You see the headline there? Central banks keep
I see
gold and
that.
fake.
I'm just
focus.
saying. You asked if I saw the story.
I just think the real demand, what's really going to put pressure on gold going even higher, is central banks around the world during this, economic turmoil, trade wars, whatever you want to call it, loading up on gold.
How about why they're not loading up on crypto? Because
Well-
crypto is crap. You're right. So they're going to gold. Okay.
I mean, a lot of crypto, but I don't do a lot of crypto. I do mostly just Bitcoin and Ethereum. And Bitcoin held its ground. It actually stayed a little bit less volatile than even NVIDIA did
Okay.
for a while. But actually, I'm curious what Bitcoin's doing now. I bet it's rallying with the rest of them.
I agree. Even though I still think there's another crypto winter coming.
But I mean, yeah, if you want to play it,
XRP is another one.
Yeah,
I've actually
XRP.
been looking at XRP.
it's definitely cheaper.
Okay.
Dollar price wise. But market cap, XRP is still pretty big. Pull up a map, no common border with Russia.
Yeah, I know, Fitz. We just pulled up the map.
He
I-
might have just.
I
he
already
might be on delay.
I already said that I was wrong. I said it. Mark it down on your calendars. Glenn was wrong. All right. So you are keeping your eyes still on gold.
I am still. And tonight's video is actually going to touch on gold a little bit as well.
Okay. Nearly 50% of the S&P 500 is in oversold territory or on the brink of it. So I think that we can say that all of the major indices are in bear market territory or oversold. Big move today is probably going to pull them out of that. They're just huge move. Going to pull them out of that.
Slightly out of it.
I mean
it's
up
been
7%.
Well, the Nasdaq was up 10%.
And then
I have to look at it. I
10%?
mean, 10% is hard to just comprehend in my mind in just one candlestick. I'm not used to that kind of move. We'll have to take a look at the chart after these news stories. And really, when we take a look at these charts, let's see where we could find some potential resistance at.
Okay.
People, buying in the hype today, but who knows what happens a couple days. Let's see. I think we should focus on that.
I'm thinking that all of these candles are going to be huge. All of them.
If this news continues on a pause.
But now, can we stay on it? All right?
Tomorrow we do have inflation data.
Yeah, somebody said CPI came out. It's coming out tomorrow.
That could dampen the party if it's a really bad report, but obviously the tariffs is probably going to take up the headlines.
NASDAQ still in correction territory. Bitcoin up 7.5%. Let's go take a look. Research.
Chris said there is actually a small country north of Poland and south of Lithuania called Kaliningrad. This is a Russian territory and a huge pain in the, I'll say, butt for the EU.
Look at this. Today, up 5%.
Back in the 80s.
6.5% over the last 24 hours.
So if you think about Bitcoin right now, it was 108. It got down, I think, 72. So about 30% volatility. And that's, the NASDAQ hit 22%.
Look at all of
NVIDIA
these.
was at 30%.
All of these moves in the last 24 hours, big jumps. But if you look at the last 7 days, all still trending lower. One day doesn't make a trend. My SMCI calls are up 13% today. Interesting. Tech is going to move. If the NASDAQ is up that much, Magnificent 7 is going to definitely, Mag 7 is going to be on the move today, big time. All right.
I wonder what Apple's doing on that. Because
Apple's up today.
But did we find out these tariff 90-day pause does not apply to China, correct?
Right.
Because that's the big concern for Apple right now, their manufacturing. So,
but Apple is still up. Oh, there is. Apple's in here.
Apple's jump today may not be that justified.
Oh, but it might be, according to the story. According to the story.
According to the story.
Marjorie Taylor Greene discloses purchase of Apple, Amazon, and others.
Who's Marjorie Taylor Greene?
She's in Congress.
Oh, well, you know it's probably going to go. You know it's probably going to go.
This is like a Pelosi trade.
Yeah.
All right. It's not showing me that Apple. There is Trump's 50. Blah, 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 blah. The 50-year-old congresswoman representing the 14th district of Georgia also purchased Caterpillar, FedEx, PI, JPM, LRCX, Lulu, Nike. It's a lot of stocks in a market that's been getting its butt kicked.
Yeah.
Interesting that she would be pulling up long stocks. Also makes me think that what do they know that we don't know?
On April 3rd and April 4th.
Yeah, and look at them. Look at them. So I bring this story up because if you want to know what your Congress people are buying, which
They're buying the dip.
which in my mind should be illegal for them to do, all right, because they have access to a lot more information, inside information that we don't. I think it should be illegal, but you know something? If it can get you a heads up, a hand out, a lift up, a pick up, a boost, a shock, some money, here's some of the stocks that she's in.
And Chris, your comment on the BSR, correct. To feel a little bit more warm and fuzzy other than just some noise in the market, I would like to see that BSR really jump. Because the last rally we had, that was short-lived, a couple weeks ago, the BSR didn't really jump that high. And we touched on that.
So what are you looking for? You're looking for confirmation.
Nice big jump on that BSR.
Today could be a blast-off day off of a bottom. It's tough to say that right now. This is news-driven. I don't know. Do you think we found another bottom?
I think if we do, it's going to be caused by the news, not by the chart.
You think that this could now be the bottom? That's a definite definition of a blast-off day right there. Right there. It indicates the MTI and the buy-to-sell ratio at the levels of being oversold.
Look at the jump in the MTI. It's now at 0.46. I think it was in the 0.2s, wasn't it?
Yeah, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4.
VSR almost doubled. It was, 0.03 or 0.04? So seeing that double. These are good signs, and I'll put it like this. If you are going to buy some stocks and not have the time to watch them over the next week or two, probably shouldn't just rush in and buy today. But if you got some time to manage, if you are aggressive, you are used to chart reading, things of that nature, and you're disciplined, hey, I can't be mad at it.
I can't be mad at you either. Big jump on big news. All right, I skipped a story. Dollar General.
Oh, yeah, so just going along with, Costco and Walmart. This I thought was interesting. Dollar General tested a store for wealthier shoppers. If I scroll down, this is the store right here. I did not realize that they were branching out to, higher-end consumers, essentially. And it's called Pop Shelf. You ever seen these Pop Shelves?
Yeah, we have one in Mooresville.
I never knew.
I didn't know what it was.
I kind of knew what it was, but I didn't know it was owned by Dollar General. So it looks like Dollar General trying to, and it makes sense because, they're always known to go after the low-end consumer.
Right.
But if they have a little nicer store, a little nicer products, they could still offer bargains, but yet, a little bit higher level consumer.
Do you think Thurston Howell is going to go to one of these stores?
I don't think that store is meant for Thurston Howell.
Richer people?
Yeah. Well, I know who I am, but I don't know. We live in a pretty wealthy area. And
I do.
They go to all kinds of stores.
I don't go there.
You don't shop. Your wife shops.
That's
Your
true.
wife probably goes there.
That's
you
very
wouldn't know
true.
what store to go to.
You got to point that. I don't stop. I don't shop. I don't. I have a wife that does, and she doesn't make me go with her.
Even when the market was pulling back, like for some reason, Dollar General was holding its ground, trending higher. I have to take a look at the chart. I know I had a big bad down day during one of the big market sell-offs. But Dollar Tree is holding its ground as well. So I like these defensive consumer staples, especially if there's real quantitative data showing, hey, we're entering recession territory, that kind of stuff.
Why are you using the R word? I don't think we're getting into recession territory. Have you seen the GDP go down at least one quarter?
No, but that's what I'm saying. Wait until we get that data. And GDP data, that should be, March? It's April, so yeah, it should be coming out soon. First quarter.
And we'll see if it goes up or down.
We shall see.
Okay. Next story.
But again, like I said, any kind of recession or slowdown GDP wouldn't be caused by the tariffs because that just started. It's already a laggard effect from the interest rates, which was the objective of the Federal Reserve, to slow down the economy. Is the best plan to wait and see CPI tomorrow?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say yes. Especially, if you didn't buy the stock this morning before the big jump, I'm not going to jump in it right now. An hour and a half before the market closes?
Wow, somebody said it looks like we bought our hats from Dollar General. That's a hater right there.
No, this is Pop Shelf. This is a higher end clientele.
I went to the store in Mooresville.
Even Joey's laughing.
I went to the store in Mooresville that's got the horse on it. What store is that?
That's like a real cowboy.
Yeah,
so it's got a horse on it.
It's got a horse on it.
I forget what it's called. Is that a Lebos? I think that's like the original Lebos around
here. Is it Lebos? Is it Lebos in Mooresville, Joey?
It's like the OG Lebos, like before Lebos was a thing.
So that's where I got my hat.
Speaking of a dip on the tech, ARM Holdings. I've been talking about ARM for a while. Obviously, it ran. It finally hit my level, which was a gap fill around, I think it was like $80. We'll take a look at the chart here. But if you're thinking about stocks, ARM, and look at this. ARM's got quite ambitious, goals for 2025. Where is it? Right here. Somewhere in here.
Do you know what you're doing?
Well, I thought I knew it was. But anyways, they're trying to take...
NVIDIA is up. NVDL, the ETF for NVIDIA, is up 32%.
So ARM's customers, look, all of the top names, Apple, Qualcomm, NVIDIA, Microsoft, Taiwan Semiconductor. Look at this. Market share, 99% of application processors, right? This article is touching on CPUs. And more importantly, data center central processing units, right? They're going after AMD and they're going after NVIDIA. They're looking to improve the 15% market share. They want to corner it with a 50% market share.
I don't think they're going to get that.
I don't know if they're going to get
aggressive.
It. But, they're ambitious. I mean, they got 99% of the processor market share when it comes to the smartphones. So I wouldn't sell them short. If you're looking for a company on the dip, we're going to take a look at the chart, especially, if it prior to the 90-day announcement, I would say, hey, put this on your radar kind of thing. But now with this kind of momentum, it might be worth a nibble.
Last story, Boeing. Boeing deliveries rise 63% in February from a year earlier. They got the contract for the next gen, the F-47. They're still in the running for the contract for the next gen for the naval plane, the F/A-XX. Was that Joey moving?
Yeah, I got to go check.
Oh.
I wonder how, again, it's hard to ask. I wonder how the tariffs are going to affect Boeing's export business, because I know a lot of other countries buy their planes.
Well, either they're going to have to pay it or not. They're either going to have to pay it or get off the list.
Get off.
Or get off the list, because they got orders.
Yeah.
Do they rescind the orders because of the tariffs?
I know it rose 63% from the prior year, but how much did it drop? Because, it's easy to compare it when, the deliveries are pretty much standstill after all the negative publicity. I'm just curious to see if this 63% really is a meaningful jump.
63% is 63%.
63%.
It is, in my mind. It's 63%. All right. Those are the headline stories. Let me minimize this. Let's get back into the
Furby
software.
says they bought some PLTR. Glenn, you're still holding Palantir, right?
Yep. I do. And again, I'm going to put this into a 1 month. Look at that. Look at that candle today. Took out 2 candles, faded one, fading a second gap.
I don't see a wick.
Because it's trading at session highs. Everybody
65,
and their mama is jumping
64.
on board. ARM is up 20%.
David,
Palantir
so you can
is
see
up
why I was looking at that level in
19%.
ARM.
My Palantir is up 19%. Goodness gracious. Golly gee willikers. You know something? I might I want to put it out there. I might want to buy the MAG 7 ETF.
Okay.
I might just want to do it. What is it? Is it just MAG?
I think it is. No,
No.
that's where we're going.
Anybody remember what the MAG 7? MAG 7. Anybody know what that ETF is? Put it in
There, you got Round Hill daily 2 times long, MAG 7. MAG X.
MAG X.
And then you got Round Hill Magnificent 7, and that's MAG S. I think it's the single leveraged. There we go.
All right, I'm going back.
Yep, there we go.
To MAG, S?
Yes.
X? 2 times.
Depends how
There it is.
confident you feel.
I'm
You feel it
thinking-
2
I'm thinking
times
about-
confident?
I don't have a story on it, but the NASDAQ being up as much as it is, I'm thinking about picking that up. Look at the 3 and the 8, about to cross. It still is an early move. RT is still below 1. All right, so this would be a gutsy move. I might put all my portfolio into it. That's all you can
Okay.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, go ahead, go for it. But
Go for it,
I am
buddy.
thinking about
Put
picking,
it all in there.
I'm thinking about picking that up today. All right, let's go to the viewers. Let's go to the watch list viewers. Let's go to afternoon market action. Let's go to the market indices.
I'm curious what those Contra ETFs are doing next.
They're getting killed.
Look at that.
Look at that. Look at
Over
that.
10%, so we are getting follow through, because I saw it was right flat at 10 and then went down
MAG
to
7 is
9.
pushing that up.
Oh, yeah.
MAG 7 is definitely pushing
Look,
that
this
up.
SPY up 8%.
That's crazy.
VectorVest
I don't remember the last
Composite
time
up
I've seen
7%.
these kinds of numbers
Look
on
at
an
the-
index in one day.
The VIX down 31%.
What's the price? 36.
It's still
went up to,
elevated.
it was 52. Now
Yeah.
people are not fearful anymore. People are like, yay, baby, let's go get this party started. They sitting back like on Friday saying, you're not working.
U12 says, wow, trading the chart, not your heart. Gutsy move.
There you go. I'm trading the chart.
I see a bullish engulfing candlestick. If you a
Took-
little bit
and
more
took out
conservative.
2 bearish candles.
Yeah.
2 big bearish candles.
But like I said, if you want the follow through tomorrow, CPI data, and that'll let us know if we get some follow through from today's bullish. If I had to guess, just about every chart you look at is probably going to be a bullish engulfing today.
I don't disagree with that. All right, let's go look at the Contras. Woo! Look at that. Getting smoked like a pound of bacon, baby. All of it. All of it, all of it, all of it. 50% on SOXS. 50%.
On one day.
33% on the VIX, UVXC. The SQQQ down 30. Again, even in talking about in 2 videos that I did on Monday and Tuesday, Blood in the Streets and Patience is a Virtue, this is why you got to read the charts, folks. And a day like today, I got nothing to protect you against the gap. This was news-driven This was news driven. So there was nothing to protect you if you were holding contras. There was nothing. News came out, and the market took off like nobody's business.
Is that true? Eugene says, Glenn, Trump hinted this through a social post while we
Truth
were on
Social.
Truth Social.
I did not see that this morning, Eugene.
But it's just crazy because 2 days ago he literally said
It was
that
fake
90-day
news.
pause is fake news, and now he's saying they're doing it. So I don't know. That's just kind of annoying in my opinion. But yes, the market is up. This is kind of annoying.
But this is what the market was looking for.
No, it's definitely
to move up.
Of course, the market was looking for the tariffs to go away.
All right, let's go look at Glenn's picks last week. Today, they might even turn positive if they were negative. Look at this. All my picks from last week. Let's go back 1 week to the second. Quick test them all. Even with today's activity, down 6.7%.
But look, the only big ones, the Mag Sev. Yeah, NVIDIA and Microsoft.
And that's probably today. There's probably today. Big move to the downside on CoreWeave. I was interested. I don't know if I picked that up.
So
I was interested in CoreWeave. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, NVIDIA, I've said it before, even during the sell-off, if you take nibbles at NVIDIA in the 90s, in the 80s, whatever, as long as nibbles, not full positions, it's probably not going to be a bad idea.
All right.
It's all about just going for the right stocks on the dip.
I agree. Fundamentally sound. NVIDIA
Undervalued,
just
fundamentally
going
sound.
down.
And not to mention that NVIDIA is, one of the most important companies in the world.
Let's go to my picks for this week. What do I got? Taiwan Semi, Amazon. These are all of the stories that I covered today, right? Apple, Dell. Remember, Apple and Amazon were because of the Congresswoman. Dell, Amazon, Apple, Dell. Defense, I'm still a big fan of defense. Whoa, 22%. Holy
you gonna put some of that in your portfolio?
Damn right I am. Holy, you already know I'm big on defense anyway.
No, I know, but
you know I'm big on defense anyway.
22%.
Holy smoke! So stocks that I'm thinking about putting my money in: Defend. What was the other one that I say? Mag X. No story, but because of the move, I'm going to take it. Look at these.
I'm taking XOXL. You can have your Mag X.
I'm going to take these two most
Defend
likely.
is a good one. I won't. I
I
can't knock that one, bud.
I'm going to take a look at the graphs. Big move. Broke a downtrend. Put this on a 1 month graph.
It's not a bullish engulfing, but it's close.
Yeah, no, it's a piercing pattern.
Close.
It's a one white soldier.
One white soldier? Okay.
I'm looking for 3.8 to cross. I'm looking for RT on good volume. And my other one, Defend. Look at that. Now, I am aggressively getting in. The 3.8 hasn't crossed an RT. RT right now is... RT on Defend is above 1. These are probably going to be the two stocks I'm going to take today.
As long as the policies don't change or
he might come out tomorrow and go, psych! And then
I'm not going to say he won't or he will, but just be careful.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Because it's news driven. It's hard to trade the chart right now when it's news driven.
Let's go look at your stocks from last week.
But I do like what I saw in the Qs earlier this week.
TQQQ may not be a bad play. Look at this today.
NVIDIA, AMD,
look at
TSM, Microsoft,
Let's go
Shell,
back.
even my gas play, even my Bitcoin, Ethereum, it's all a
Freaking Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
It's crap though. Quick test them all. We're about down about the same
NVIDIA
amount.
and Microsoft, the only two that went up.
Again, which is why I'm going to go with the Mag X.
7, yep.
I'm going to go with the Mag X.
I get that.
All right. So let's go.
SOXL does give me some exposure to like Broadcom and NVIDIA, so I'll be okay with that.
All right. And let's go look at Ryan's picks this week. They should all be kicking anyway. I think they were all moving up prior to the announcement.
Oh, the only thing that did go up was Defense Consumer, Dollar General. Go figure.
Anything you want to look at?
Look up.
I put this.
Oh wait, no, that's down 1%.
I put
Walmart up 10%.
I put GLD because I want to look at that industry.
GLD.
Right? Yeah, I want to see that specifically. Up.
Oh,
Right click.
just the chart or the industry group?
The stock. The chart.
The chart.
In regards.
No. Oh, shoot. I know.
I want to see where the gold play stands. The 3 and 8 haven't crossed. I do like that it is moving up on really good volume. Really good volume. Gold may not be a bad play once again.
I think gold is good because it's going with the market, but it's still like market uncertainty play.
Okay.
You know, you still get some safety there. At least a sense of safety there when it comes to gold.
But the past couple of weeks when it was running nice. Mm-hmm. It could be getting back.
I've said the last 2 weeks, buying the gold, the dip on gold, probably not the worst idea.
Any other stock you want to look at before we get into?
I always just want to look at SOXL because I was actually looking at this thing. It was like $6 not too long ago.
That's a good cheap play if it's running. SOXL is 51 percent.
$12. I'm probably going to take that. Okay. We'll see how that works out. I'm going to go small positions, maybe like $2,000 each on a couple of these. Are you going to add positions to your portfolio too?
Yeah.
Here, should we do that now while we're
we
here?
Can.
Let's do. I'll take gold. I'm going to do Walmart. I'm going to do Dollar General on a down day. Costco, probably not a bad one either. And then I don't think I need ARM because I got. Actually, you know what?
I would take off the SOXL and go to ARM. That would be my opinion.
Use stock grab, add to portfolio.
You're not taking ARM?
No, I am. I'm. Next. Action
Should be
fine.
about $8,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
8,000. Next. Open portfolio. I'll go back.
So neither one of us have stocks in our portfolio.
But now I'm going to add SOXL because since it's an ETF, instead of having to buy low NVIDIA and ARM and all the little guys, I'm just going to do a $4,000 position and just leverage the semiconductor space essentially.
Okay.
Let's see here. Add to portfolio. Ryan's picks.
No, that's the wrong one. That's 0.
2025.
AMA Ryan.
Buy. We'll do 4,000. Next. So this is what my portfolio looks like now.
Excuse me.
Hopefully CPI doesn't ruin our party tomorrow. It's taking a moment to load.
I don't know why it's taking this long. I'm going to go.
There it goes. Yeah, it's there.
Okay. There you go.
All right. So I was down about, just over 8%. Hopefully this will...
Ryan said, yeah, only being down 8% in this market, it's not so bad. I said,
not so
whatever, you can walk, you can talk.
I only get to trade on Wednesdays.
So you can talk yourself in that if you want to. All right.
We have to give some back today. Never seen this.
Thank you, Bill. What do I want? I want DFM. I want MagX. I don't know if I want Boeing. I don't really know if I really want. Hold on.
You don't know if you want Boeing? Yeah, I mean TSM. I don't mind TSM.
Apple.
150.
You know something? I'm thinking about the stock plays by.
You're not gonna do defense?
Hold on. I want to look at these graphs first.
Slow
your roll.
You're sticking to the Pelosi playbook?
I might be. I ain't gonna lie. I might be.
Hey, look at TSM. TSM looks like it's trying to break out of that downtrend or getting really close to it.
I'm gonna take that. I'm not touching Apple. Dell.
I think Apple is just on general market hype, but their concerns are still real with China.
All right, so these are my three. I'm going to take TSM.
TSM has earnings next Thursday, by the way.
That's fine. I don't care.
I know.
MagX. What was the other one? DFM. Add to portfolio.
Because if I had to guess, just like how we got gaps down during the market sell-off, if there's no bad tariff news over the evening, I have a feeling we'll get a gap up going into tomorrow.
AMA Glenn.
Mark, I love you, Mark. Forget Pelosi. What does Joey think? Joey, you buy it over there? I see you on your phone.
Okay.
He's in cash. Joey's in cash. He said those fools could buy their stocks.
I'm going 9,000.
9,000. Ooh, $3,000 positions. Okay. I like TSM at that price.
How did mine get in so quick? Oh, because I'm amazing? Just the way I am.
Well, that's the case, but it's okay.
All right, so there we go. I'm in MagX, DFN, TSM. And I was only down 3% where he was down, how many? Like 15, 20?
Yeah. 8. And Rick, I did see that Microsoft took the king of the hill with the largest market cap of all the companies. It surpassed Apple because NVIDIA fell off.
Oh, so
but now with
Microsoft
the jump, though,
is the number one?
Yeah, Microsoft's the number one, but actually we should probably, let's look at that because with the jump today.
You got to put in Microsoft and NVIDIA if you want.
Let me just put a stock viewer.
There should be no trust here.
MSFT.
Trust in who?
In the market, I assume. And then what was the other one I was saying?
NVIDIA, Microsoft, and
Apple.
Those are the three top.
Let's see where they're at here. Let's see who's leading the pack today. NVIDIA might.
That's why I got exposure to it.
I mean, it's hard to.
Market cap.
Oh.
No, you right there. No.
Yeah, it was right over here.
Oh my gosh, right there. 2.6.
Oh, it's catch up. Almost 2.7. Microsoft's barely holding the lead now.
Yeah, it's not that.
2.84. Apple at 2.8.
Microsoft
now.
has got 2.8.
So $400 billion lead over Apple, and then Nvidia's lagging by about, let's just say about 500 or no.
I don't know. Don't ask me. 200 billion? 100 billion?
No, way more.
The freak, I don't know.
6 plus 3. We're talking about 4
Hi,
plus 3,
Sheldon.
about 700 billion.
All right. How many likes did we get?
Price turning red. Yep, as soon as me and Glenn bought. That sounds about right.
on.
There goes
Where's
the
the
upper
graph?
wick showing.
Let's go look at the. Up there it is. There's wick. There it is.
Wick, there it is.
You know what else I'm gonna do?
But that's it. I'm not buying anymore. I'm still mostly in cash though.
You know what I'm gonna
You're
do?
still mostly in cash.
Watch this.
You're turning the stops off?
Nope.
Oh. You gonna buy again on the dip just now?
Nope.
Oh, you're gonna hedge?
Yep.
So your portfolio's okay. A little hedgy hedge?
I'm gonna do a little hedge. So I got into $3,000 worth of SQQQ.
Okay.
I got stops in place. Edit. Let's go make sure my stops are on. Trailing 10% stop. So all I did was just put a little hedge because again, somebody what did somebody say about not trusting the market? Do I still have the yield max portfolio? Yeah, and it looks like crap, Michael, but it's in here.
If you edit,
I would tighten that. That's my that's just my 2 cents. I would tighten that.
The rest of the. Can I just change this one?
You can change with yep. You know you went up, right?
Yeah, I'm just
Okay.
going to go to 20. Because that stock or that ETF needs room to move. Otherwise,
I like that idea.
Just
Okay.
because you'll just get stopped out and get frustrated. So I'm going to give it 20% just because of the movement of the markets right now. The rest of them,
You're at trailing 15, I think.
and we're going to knock that down a little bit. We're going to do trailing 12
Okay.
with the
Why
target
you-
gain.
Why are you just picking up a strange number out of your freaking head? It's
Strange
just
number.
a strange number.
Because I don't want to go quite 10.
Just a strange number. Just yeah, we'll go with that.
There we go. SOX got a little bit more breather room. These actually have targets to the upside. And this,
Which is not a bad play.
and actually, I want to put a target on this because this will move so quick. Use target gain. We'll do 30%.
Okay. That's not a bad play. So if
Because
they
that
do
way,
get up
if
there,
it jumps up as your target, sell
it's
it, you're out.
And then you don't have to worry about trailing.
You don't have to worry about, trailing, coming back, all that stuff.
All right. How many likes do we have? 46. Guess what? All you get is 5 stocks today. I'm not. You can put all the likes you want. All it is 5. Y'all know how this works.
So
Y'all know how
type it in.
5 stocks is all
Last
you're getting
10
today.
minutes.
5. Ryan, call them off.
5 stocks.
Let's go to viewers.
PTC, CRDO. Hey, VRT build. That. Everyone pay attention to that stock right there. VRT.
All right, give me the stocks again.
All right, we got PTC.
PTC.
CRDO.
CRDO.
VRT.
VRT.
RH.
RH. One more.
TPC.
TPC. You know the
And then
rules.
someone put in WTH.
What did I just say?
Well, that was a joke.
Oh, I was getting ready to think about it. I was thinking about it. Auto fit. All right, there we go. I told you, you guys know how this works.
Well, Restoration Hardware dropped like 50%.
Wasn't that one of the trades?
Yeah,
that was one of the trades that Marjorie
No,
Taylor-
that was why I did the video like a week or 2 weeks ago where the CEO was on the earnings call and said, "Oh shit!"
Oh, yeah.
when he saw the stock drop.
That was a funny video.
That was funny.
All right. Here we
Vertiv
go.
up 16%.
Let's go look at the graphs. A lot of these are going to have those big...
TPC's got some room to run. I can see your levels right there, that resistance zone, those two lines. Nice bullish engulfing. Looks like the 3's converging closer to the 8. I like it. It's got room to run. You know, put a target probably.
I'd like for RT to go above 1, but that's one day. Nice open candle. Does it have any wick at the top? It's got a little wick, not a lot. So it's still trading close to today's highs. All right.
That's not a bad play. And it's construction, so it's not, tech related.
Are we really building anything?
I don't know.
Okay. I'm just saying.
Are we really?
Big move on PT. Did I put that in wrong?
Computer graphics. PTC. That's
PTC,
it.
okay.
Yeah, that's
Big open
PTC.
candle. Look at that. As the market starts to move again a little bit, little wick forming.
And now
All
it's
the stocks that we got into,
probably dropping. What?
yeah, it might be.
Might be.
It might be.
We'll see.
This is why you ain't supposed to trust the market. Trade the graph.
But you
not
see,
the-
it's
not-
already getting to the first gap, and let me do the horizontal lines. It looks like it stopped right at that gap here. Oh, no.
Stop adding
Just
it.
shy of the gap. You can see, looks like it's target there. But hey, overall, I get it. Even if you draw a trend line here, yeah, I'd wait for some confirmation right there. It's so close to that downward
Okay.
trend line. It doesn't have like a lot of room to run before it hits that trend line.
This has got a lot of room.
That's
to
the
run.
gap down I was telling
That's
you.
got a lot of room.
And a
it's
big
starting
gap
fade.
to fill, too.
Yeah. It's got a lot of room to run.
But
It's
look at-
undervalued.
But look at the EPS, earnings per share. It has dropped since the earnings.
Volume picked up today with today's move.
Nice bullish engulfing. I like what I see. This I see more as a momentum trade. The closer you get to the top of that gap fill, consider taking profits if you're swing trading. If not, if you're looking more as an investment, the valuation of the company is around $300, $304 right now. So you are getting a value with this market on this position.
Interesting. Again, for more confirmation, this is fast indicator, 3 and 8 exponential. Wait for the cross, wait for RT to go above 1.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in it now, it's a little bit more of an aggressive trade. All right? Next one. Ooh, CRDO, the 3 and 8 is crossing. Broke through the downtrend.
Yeah, we got it. Looks like we got a
Rising
fresh crossover
earnings.
here.
Rising earnings.
The 8's at 39.33, 3's at 39.42, so it is officially above.
Nice open candle, and it's got room to run at least to this last 1 month high.
It was about $50. just
I
over
can't
50.
read that.
Just over 50. It was like 50,
Okay.
94. We'll say 51.
So you got a little bit of room. You got about $9 to run. Once it gets to this level of resistance, though, keep your eye on it. I do like the rising earnings. Where's RV? Above 1, RS below 1. A little bit more of an aggressive trade, but I like, from a technical standpoint, the 3 and 8 about to cross. I'd like to see RT get above
For the
1.
technicals, I do like, swing trading purposes. The only thing I don't like about this, the value of the company is still way overvalued. Value's flat right now. So as far as an investing perspective, I personally feel there's better opportunities out there. But as far as a trade, hey, not a bad trade to take.
There we go. All right. And come on. What is that? Dang.
Beep, 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 beep.
Shut up. Last one. Again, where's the three? Nope.
There
That
goes
is,
the
oh,
wick.
that's value.
So for a while, that company was overvalued. Go to like a 6-month chart. See, it was way overvalued. So the stock has now come back to our valuation. The market makes sense for this position. Good valuation.
But
I mean, from an
look at it
investment
now.
perspective,
It's back above value. There's value
yeah, fairly valued. We'll call it.
and a wick at the top. Makes me want to go look what the market is doing. Market timing. There's the wick forming. Let's go put this on intraday, 5-minute bars, current day. There it
So
is.
there's the initial news,
Yep.
and it looks like it's just taking a little breather.
It's got a level of support. I do have support and resistance on there. Clear all the drawings. There's the support and resistance levels. All right, this is this is all intraday. So I don't have a real level of support except from earlier today. That's it. That's it.
And if I'm looking at this intraday chart, I'm probably going to look around here for a level of support, somewhere in this area.
That'll work. I'd use the tip of the wick.
The tip of the wick?
The tip of the wick.
Maybe even just treat it like a little zone or something. That would be a responsible level, especially, but that's a huge move.
So look at those two levels that Ryan put up there from a market timing intraday perspective.
So if the market's pulling back,
Yeah.
but yet you're thinking about buying this little dip on the overall positive sentiment in the market, that's kind of where I would look to see a dip. But again, I mean, with this kind of news and the market's in such oversold territory, we'll see how it plays out. And hopefully the news doesn't change this evening.
I think today,
Because our portfolios will take a hit.
I think that today was a reaction to the news. Was it an overreaction because a lot of people jumped in? I don't know yet. I won't know that until we can see if we get confirmation tomorrow.
And I think a lot
CPI
of,
news.
Exactly. A lot of that
Yep.
confirmation coming from CPI news. And then earnings. We got big banks at the end of this week.
Friday, that's right. They start
I think
off in the
Constellation Brands is
CEG? That's not Constellation. No.
today or tomorrow. I think Constellation was this week. And then next week, the big ones is ASML, which is the Dutch lithographer for semiconductors. And then when it comes to semiconductors and tariffs, Taiwan Semi. So
It's gonna
hearing
be
from those
big.
two foreign companies
We'll give a feel about the tariffs.
the tariffs, how it's going to play the semiconductors, what are the relations, the guidance, because, let's be honest, I'm not too concerned about what the earnings were last quarter. I'm concerned about what the guidance and the forecast will be going forward and how they've been adjusted with everything going on.
Good question. Is it time to go back? Let's go put this on a 3-month graph. I don't know. I need confirmation tomorrow. One day doesn't make a trend. This could be the blast off day. This could be the bottom. But is it time to go back in? If you don't want to wait for the primary wave, which I would do, but if you don't want to wait for the primary wave, let's see if we get follow through on tomorrow's candle. Do we have another green candle?
I'll put it like this. If you're going to buy a stock before the primary wave goes up, you better have a stop on it. You better have a plan in case this goes away. Because if you don't have a plan, don't say I didn't told you so. It's going to become emotional, and who knows what you're going to do. But so before you purchase stock, figure out what your plan is to get rid of it.
I agree.
Whether it works in your favor or not.
And that's what we did in our portfolios.
We made sure
That's
there were stocks
exactly
in
what
place
we
there.
did. We do have stops in place. Mine are, I think it's a 10% trail.
And I've got weird stops, according to Glenn.
Yeah, I'm just going to leave it alone. 10% trail. But I'm in the mags. I'm in Taiwan Semi. I'm in DFEN, which I'm happy about. And SQQQ is strictly hedge. Strictly a hedge. All right, so if the market starts to go down, it'll pick up some pace and help to absorb some of these if I was wrong. And Ryan, on the other hand,
Well, I went a little bit different route. Instead of just going, shorting the Qs, essentially I put, gold hedge, defensive consumer hedges here, pretty much gold and consumer defense. And then my risk, with the tech and within the Qs is triple leveraged, $4,000 position. But overall, my portfolio is still sitting, 2/3 in the cash almost. So
Where's
just
mine?
keep that in mind as well.
you got 33,000.
Even though I just bought stocks today.
I got more.
still-
Oh, look at that. I got 36,000. And my portfolio is doing better than yours. High five. High five. Woo!
Thanks, Glenn. I just love hanging out with you.
I know. All right. With that, we're at 258. Look at that. Joey should be happy. We're done.
Is that really true? XROF just went down 20%. Oh man,
I am so not in XROF.
I'm glad I'm not. Either.
don't think I wanna
I know a lot of
advocate
people
that.
who are though. Some of them related to me. It's not because of me.
That's all I got to say about that.
Not because of me.
All right. But as we get to close off, we are coming off the session highs after the news today about the 90-day pause on some countries for tariffs. It was big news, and the market responded in a big way. Make sure that tomorrow you get followed through before you start to think that this was a bottom and that was a blast-off day. All right? So with that being said, you got anything you want to say? You want to add?
I will
You
say-
got a video coming out tonight.
I do have a video coming out tonight. Actually, you know what? Watch the video because I was going to show you a little something, but watch the video because some of it is in the video tonight. Really go into the cues, looking for a bottom for tech stocks. You'll see, but it might be close to that bottom. We'll see, but if the bottom is in. Otherwise, the focus is on gold stocks. I'm breaking down some really good gold charts. So if you are more optimistic in the market, but not optimistic enough for the tech, and you're thinking about silver, gold, things of that nature, check out the video as well. The video will also let you know some good times to know when it is, for a good time to know when it is to bottom fish.
Joey knows nothing about golf. He doesn't even know how to hit the ball. All right.
Didn't he teach you how to golf?
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. All right, folks. Thank you for joining us today. I'm glad that we were close to the breaking news for our live stream. Mm-hmm. That was awesome.
That worked out real well.
It did. With that being said, adios, arrivederci, ciao, au revoir, sayonara, aloha to all my peeps in Hawaii. I love me some Hawaii, baby. Woo-wee! All right. Always remember there's good people out there. If you can't find one, be one. Odabu, bom dia, salam, shalom, namaste, yasu. Till next time, folks. See ya.
Ciao.
Hey, VV Nation, I'm Glenn.
And I'm Ryan. We've got a special event coming next month, May 1st. We're finally hitting the road. Now, we will be hosting some live streams. Tell them a little bit about the live streams we'll be doing.
We're going to have the Stock Analysis Power Hour. Ryan will host that. Bring your stocks. Let Ryan break them down for you. I'll also do a live stream called Trending Thursday. That's where we go through, look at what's going on in the market, what's going on in the news, and we analyze stocks. We also have a live presentation for those people who will be attending live as well. What's that, Ryan?
Now, we do have the presentation titled Unlocking the Secrets of Financial Success. Now, to register for free and get the details, just go to VectorVest.com/roadshow.